Are you ready to take your organization to the next level and become a game changer in your industry? Then look no further. Welcome to Yokai Business Show, where we bring you the world's top business thought leaders to share their secrets to success, from leadership development to finance, marketing, self-development, human resource management, and much, much more. Our guests reveal the strategies, tactics, and mindsets that have made them so successful. So let's dive in and learn from the best in the business. Awesome. Hello, and welcome back to another very special episode with me, your host, Yokai Kajidori. I'm truly excited and very grateful at the same time for you to join me here today to listen to one of the greatest experts that we've had on the show to cover the rules of the road ahead. You know, who wants to know what to expect? Some of the things you're going to discover here are going to save you a lot of pain and headache and emotional trauma because you know what is coming. Somebody wants to say, if you want to know what's ahead, ask who is coming. If you want to know how to succeed in an area, look for somebody who has succeeded in the area, and you will find success. Again, success leaves clues. So today's topic, really in this area, we want to explore what are the rules of engagement? What are the rules of the road? What is it that you're supposed to be doing in order for you to succeed? And I know you're going to have a great time here. And if you can, I know you may be doing a lot of things, but if you can, find somewhere to write what you're going to discover. Dignify your discoveries, put them in your journal. I always do. And when you do that, you're going to find one thing, one nugget. All you need really is one idea, one nugget that could change everything for your business. And you don't know when that one nugget comes in. It could be today, because my guest truly is outstanding. We vet our guests, as you know, and they have been doing this for a long time. Together with the team. I have to put that in there because nothing happens by one person. You have to have a team to succeed. There is this saying, I know I'm digressing here for a bit, but please indulge me for a second. There is a saying that is a self-made millionaire. Really, that statement tells me of their knowledge of becoming a millionaire, because nobody does that by themselves. They ought to have a team. Again, I digress. But I wanted to just say that so that we can get started perfectly here. Awesome. Let's get started here. For those who haven't come across your work, could you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your background, your education, and experience in this area?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm Genea Barnes. I'm a career empowerment coach, and I help people to really become the empowered leaders that they were born to be. And if you're in business, you probably have figured out by now that to run a successful business, you have to be a great leader. And what I've learned throughout my years of peeling back my own personal stuff is I knew always that I was born to do something big, to create an impact in the world, but I could never seem to get there. And no matter how hard I tried, I kept hitting these walls. I kept being stuck at a place where I couldn't go any further, where my business wasn't expanding, or even when I was in regular jobs, I wasn't getting promoted. I wasn't being taken seriously. So I went on a search to try to figure out what was wrong with me. And in that process of more than 20 years of searching and peeling back all of those things, I started to find some stuff that worked. And every time I found a new modality, a new method that worked, I dove headfirst and I studied it and I trained with leading experts. I've been trained in NLP, hypnotherapy, and so many other kinds, so many certifications that you wouldn't even believe. We have a stack. But what has happened over the years is that I've been able to sort of integrate all of these different modalities into this system that really helps people become powerful leaders where they're taken seriously and where they get to expand their business and become people that others look up to, that others are inspired by. And when people are inspired by you, they're willing to work with you to create. And so many leaders today are navigating from a place that disempowers their workers and will, in the end, have them reaching these limitations, these ceilings of where they can actually take their business.
Clearly, you're not the new kid on the block, really. You've been at it for a long time. So we're grateful you are here, and thanks for this time together. Let's dive deep in right away. What is the number one rule that business owners need to follow in this area? While we're talking about what is the exact rule and what happens really when people break it and what are the consequences of doing that.
It's quite simple, actually. The number one rule a business owner needs to follow to be successful and to make sure that their team is willing to work with them and support them is they have to assume that they are 100% responsible for everything. People talk about, oh, well, it takes two people. It's, maybe it's half your fault, half my fault. Well, as a business owner, it's up to you, right? This is your baby. This is your creation. And if you pass the buck to somebody else, it's out of your control. But when you look at how you played the role in creating whatever the outcome is, when you really look at that and examine where you can do better and where your mistake is, that gives you the possibility to actually shift and do it better next time. So you can blame it on your sales team. Well, what was it within you, right? It always is going to come back to you. What is it within you that hired a sales team that wasn't going to work effectively? Was it that you did not give them enough information for them to sell effectively? Did you drop the ball when it came to their training? Did you get sloppy in the way you were hiring people? And obviously, the bigger the business, the more tendrils and webs there are. But ultimately, it's always going to come back to you. How are you responsible for the outcome? And when you can figure out how you're responsible and then choose to take the steps to shift that, and if it's a personality thing, like maybe you were too harsh, maybe you didn't stop and listen or give people the resources they needed to succeed, you can shift that. You also have to not only own that you've done it or where you can take responsibility, but take action to correct it. And when you do this, you begin to create greater and more successful outcomes. And the consequences, if you don't do this, is if you always are passing the buck, then you have no control in your business. You have no say in what goes on. If it's always somebody else's fault, or if it's because some product didn't show up. Well, how did you create that? How did you play a role in that? Is it, if other people are the problem, you can't fix it. You can fire people, sure, but what if it's a really great person that works really hard for you and all they need is a little bit of support or one more hour of training as opposed to hiring a whole new person? So it's really about looking at where you get to take responsibility and help other people to succeed within your business instead of blaming. Plus, the other consequence is if you blame everybody else for the outcomes, then it demoralizes them. It makes people feel like they're not good enough. It makes people feel like they're less than. And when you have people that are operating from that place in an environment where they feel like that, they're not going to work as hard for you. They're not going to follow through. They're not going to be willing to work those extra hours to meet a deadline. When you empower people and take responsibility and give people the resources that they need to succeed, they're much more willing to help you do what it takes to get the outcomes and success in your business that you really want.
Awesome. I've discovered that when you put things in context as consequences, or what happens when you break this through, people sort of sit up there because they want to see, because people are afraid of the pain that comes from it. Well, perhaps I'm speaking for myself here, but I know some few people that take notice when we talk of consequences. Okay, let's go on to the next one. What is the number two rule in this area, and what happens when people break this rule in terms perhaps of the pain over a prolonged period of time, or the short term effect of not following this particular rule?
Okay, so the number two rule is you have to be able to manage your emotions. Now, I know that, like we've all said, like there's no place for emotions in business, or people have, we get into gender roles here, right? Women aren't good in business because they're too emotional. But on the other side of it, too, managing your emotions is not about stuffing your emotions and having none. To be successful in business, you have to have a balance, right? You have to be able to be compassionate and be empathetic. And if you're being too rational, too logical, and stuffing your emotions and being almost robotic like, people are not going to respond well to you. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to want to go the extra mile for you. This is like this place of zero emotion. Zero emotion does not work well with people. We're moving into this this world of AI is going to probably take a lot of people's jobs, and all this technology. Well, we need the human component. So we have to be emotional enough to have compassion, to have empathy. And this makes us relatable. It makes people respond more positively to us. And obviously, we can't be over emotional, right? If you're flying off the handle, being super reactive, you're going to be making short term decisions. And I think everybody knows when you're trying to build a business, you have got to be looking for the long-term outcomes. Yes, we want to take care of what's happening right now, but we're always looking ahead. And if you're emotional, making reactive decisions because you're freaking out because this one product launch didn't go well, and you're flipping out and responding from this place of scarcity, of fear, you're going to make short-term decisions that's going to throw your long-term business plan off. A lot of people will do this when they're trying to like build up businesses to make them really super successful really fast. But the thing is to make a long-term successful business, you've got to take things one step at a time, and you can't be so reactive off every little shift in the economy, off every little shift that happens. You've got to be able to think from this place of neutral emotion and make your decisions from a place of neutral emotion. And again, remember, that's not zero emotion. It is neutral, not overreactive and in this place of fear or anger, and also in this place where we can look at the bigger picture. And the consequences of this, right? We've talked about this a little bit, is those short-term reactive decisions. Like every time something doesn't work, you flipping out and doing the opposite, being distracted by every little thing that may or may not happen. So many times people will try this one thing to implement it, and if they don't get the exact results they want right away, and they're stuck in that fear because maybe their business isn't doing well, they're going to jump ship and buy into another program, and then that's not getting them the instant results, so they're jumping ship and buying into another program. And what they're not doing is giving each of these systems that they're trying to use to create success in their business, they're not giving these systems an opportunity to work, because they're so reactive and in so much of a panic and being distracted by all these shiny things that they're not actually focusing on what they need to do now to make things go and move forward in their business.
That's awesome. Maybe we can add more on what they ought to be doing instead uh, in the next rule that we are about to talk about right now. So, what is the number three rule that business owners like me and Bill in the audience and Mary as well? Mary is our new lady, our new profile in our audience. For those who don't know who Bill is and who Mary is, uh, we often profile our community, find who is listening and who is a part of the community, and that's where these names comes from. And again, if you're a business owner, you always want to know who you're doing business with and really be clear on that. It helps you to bring the right information for them and right products, right services for them, which serves everybody in that case. So let's go back to what we're talking about. What is the number three rule that business owners need to follow in this area as well?
Well, yes. Number three, you've got to be somebody that people want to look up to. And what that means is you have to, you know that saying, you have to walk the talk. Well, you set up your business, and if you've been in business for any length of time, you will hopefully have already done this. If you're maybe just starting out, this is one of the things you really want to get clear on in the beginning, is what are the values and the purpose and the mission of your business, right? So as the leader, as the company owner, you have to be the one that embodies those values, that purpose, and that mission. Because if you're telling people to do and be and act one way, and you're doing something different, they're not going to respect you. And if your team does not respect you, you'll have all of these, I'll just say, energy leaks, right? You have one person wanting to do it this way, one person wanting to do it that way. So getting your business and yourself very clear on what it is that you want everybody to embody. What are the values that you want them to show up and live as and in? Who do you want them to be? Who do you want your team to be? So if it's cooperation is maybe one of the main values, then you know if somebody's not living that they're not a good person for your team. They're not a good person for you to be in company. But you have to be the one that embodies that, right? You can't be the person that is like a dictator. If cooperation is one of your big values, you can't be leading like you're a dictator. You've got to allow the input of others and make it feel like it's a cooperative effort. So we all have these we all have these inner conflicts, right? I want to be an honest, truthful person, but yet I catch myself in these white lies. And so one of the things I do to work with people is to really balance out those conflicts so they can truly embody the values that they are trying to impart in their company. And the thing is, when you are very clear on who you are and who you're trying to be and what you're trying to create, when all of that is in alignment, it's really easy for people to jump on board, the people that are also in alignment. And you use these values and this, it's almost a structure, right? The mission, the values, and the purpose of the company and yourself to determine who are the right team members, to determine who is the right fit to work there. But again, you as the leader, as the owner, you have to embody it. That do as I say, not as I do, that is never going to create success in your business. It may get you so far, and what you will end up doing is the people that you do attract are going to be people that are so worried about following the rules, they're not going to be able to be creative and think outside the box to help you actually break through these places where there's obstacles or struggle. And so you have to be the one to fully embody what you want in your business. So you have to do the personal work, right? The emotions, the taking responsibility. If you struggle with any of those things as a business leader, as a business owner, as a leader in general, then you are going to actually struggle with having people follow and doing good work for you.
Awesome. It sounds very simple, yet very powerful. Are there any other critical or important rules in this area that perhaps you want to highlight now so that you can start conversations later on in the community so that we can help people?
Yeah. So when it all comes down to it, all of these things are intertwined, right? There's the taking responsibility, there's managing your emotions, there's embodying and living your values and purpose. All of those things come together. And a big piece of this is your self confidence. And we have this idea of self esteem, right? We think about people with big self esteem and big bravado, and they're so confident. But really, what it comes down to is your opinion of yourself. And if you've got conflicting things, conflicting noise going on in your head, like you're second guessing yourself, you're doubting yourself, you're wondering if you made the wrong decisions, all of those things will diminish that value you have of yourself. They will diminish your opinion of yourself. And the thing is, if deep underneath it all, you don't have the greatest opinion of yourself, if you're lacking in that high self esteem, that high confidence, that's, not over the top like bravado and overbearing, but just that natural leader confidence that people are inspired to follow, that people aren't going to want to follow you. Because I think if you've got a negative opinion of yourself, other people are going to have a negative opinion of yourself. So it all comes down to you, right? Becoming a powerful business owner, a powerful leader in the business world, your community, your family. It all comes back to you. And you are the only one that can make changes within you. If you take that responsibility to do your own personal work, and I'm not talking about sitting in therapy. So many people think this is how you do your personal work. That's not how you become the most confident version of yourself. But when you show up that way, people will reflect it. And the people who also have high opinions of themselves and work really well will also want to work with you. It's not just about the skills. Yes, your hard skills, what you can do is important. But, the reason why a lot of people don't get promoted into positions of leadership is because they don't have that strength of confidence to draw those boundaries, to embody and be somebody that somebody is going to look up to. And I think that a lot of people go into business because they want to create these really great things, but they haven't necessarily done the personal work that it takes to be a great leader, to be able to communicate well with other people. And so much of that comes from your own inner confidence and who you think you are at like a deep level. And so that's one of the things that I do with people is help them to really hone in and be the person that they want to be that person that's inspiring, be that person that people want to support and help lift up so that you can all lift each other up, right? It's I can't remember the saying. Oh, next time. So, yeah, again, increasing that opinion and self confidence of yourself. And all of these things, again, work together to do that.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Incredible. Is there anything else I've not asked you about this in this area that you would like to share with everybody? Again, this will be great conversation starters in the community, and we'll certainly love more of this so that we can keep helping people.
I think what I'd really like to stress here is as a business owner, as a leader, you are the conduit to the mission, to the purpose. And as a conduit, you don't want to have this junk or muck in the way. Like if you were to imagine the conduit as a metal pipe, but if the pipe is full of a lot of junk, a lot of places where people push your buttons, where you feel triggered, where you get overly stressed out, or you can't take care of it, you're not taking very good care of yourself, you're not sleeping well, so you are not showing up as your best. Those obstacles and that stuff that clogs up the pipe or the conduit, it is going to affect everything. And when we're talking about the purpose or the mission of your business, it's important to you. Obviously, it's important to you. You wouldn't be here working on this thing, putting all your effort, your time, right? As business owners, we work a little too much. We get up time and time again after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. But if your personal stuff is in the way, you're just clouding the road to that mission. You're creating obstacles that don't need to be there. So again, it comes down to you. A lot of people are like, I can't afford to spend the money on what it takes to do the personal work. I don't have the time. But here's the thing, you have the time, whether you know it or not. Not making the time is costing you money. It's costing you time in the long run. When you're not taking responsibility for what's going on within yourself, you are slowing down that pipeline to the mission. And you're not able to actually be able to objectively see what everybody else needs. And if you can't objectively see it because you're so wrapped up in your own stuff, then things are gonna fall through the cracks. You're gonna lose money, you're gonna lose time, you're gonna lose customers. So taking care of you is the first most important thing you can do for your company.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for a great interview. I appreciate what you've shared with us. This has been very, very insightful and very helpful indeed. Very great conversation starters for the community. I would love for people to connect with you and maybe follow you beyond this episode. What, if you can, could you tell us a little bit about your website or your social media handles so that it's easy for people to find you?
Yes, of course. You can find me through my name just about anywhere and everywhere. So if you are curious about diving into more conversations with me, you can go to elevatebookacall.com. So if you all are not driving, open up a browser right now and type in elevatebookacall.com if you want to jump on a free call with me and discuss how I can support you in becoming the leader that you were born to be. Also, my website is my name, and that is with a G, not a J, a G. So GeneaBarnes. That's GeneaBarnes.com. You can find me on Instagram at Genea Barnes, TikTok, Genea Barnes, YouTube, Genea Barnes, Facebook, Genea Barnes -elevate. But anywhere you can find me, just type in Genea Barnes. Again, that's GeneaBarnes, and you'll find me. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me and sharing your input and your community with me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. What a great show we've had today. And again, this is just the beginning of our conversation here, which will carry on in the community area. I would like to say thank you so much for being here and truly helping us as business owners thrive and become all that we can be in our time here on earth. I want to invite you, if you haven't already become part of the community, click the link below and complete that. Or start your own account, and then we'll be able to help you. And once you get there, don't be an spectator. Just participate. You'll find great information. In fact, we've got a lot of guests that we've had over the years will be participating in that, and all our future guests will be participating in that. So you want to be in the place where it's all happening. And I know our guests here will be able to answer further questions that you may have regarding that. Now, before I finish off here, I want to remind you of two things that we are doing. Number one, our training on how to start, scale, and monetize your podcast is all ready, and you can access that. You want to know what is working right now, it will be shared in there. And the second training is carried out by my good friend, many of you know Trevor Stockwell, who is a leadership expert. And when you see him in the group, just reach out to him and say, hey, we need teams development days. We need support with our leadership. And he's going to help you right where you are. Now, any questions? Community, any questions? Reach out to our guest directly. It's all fine. I'll leave you with these words, which I always do. Never to leave a place of discovering new concept, new idea, new way of doing things without scheduling when you're going to apply it. I say this because it's so true. If it's not scheduled, it is not going to happen, because life has a habit of taking over things. So I want to make sure we do that now. And also, when you're in the group, you want to find somebody that you can become accountable to, so that you will be able to follow through on the decisions, on the discoveries that you make in this episode. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, live well, live with passion. Know that the best is truly, truly yet to come. Goodbye for now. Thank you for tuning in to Yokai Business Show. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode and have gained valuable insights and inspiration from our amazing guest. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review to help us spread the word. Also, be sure to check out our Leadership Ultimate Success Mastermind program, which is designed to help you and leaders in our community to do great things and support each other along their leadership journey. Until next time, live well, live with passion, know that the best is truly yet to come.